Ow!
Hey everybody, welcome to another P Counterattack. This music is louder every week, I swear. I can't even hear myself on the monitor.
Neither can I, it's so loud.
I just pray that Juice has taught me well enough to fix this in post.
Oh, we'll fix it. And I realize our mics were really loud there, too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, but if that isn't an intro,
mistake.
if that isn't an introduction to an episode, I don't know what is.
Okay, so welcome everybody to another episode of Counterattack, and...
Oh, man.
You gonna be all right there? You gonna be okay? Here,
I tried to do the screamer voice.
Fix my mic a little bit.
What are you trying to do? Yeah, you're definitely fucking it up way worse than it was.
Fuck it up completely.
You have to tighten that thing now. Pretty much tighter than that.
It'll be fine. That works.
That
works. I swear.
It's like Charlie from Always Sunny Engineering right there, dude. Like,
okay, we're gonna kick this episode off. We teased this a little bit on the stream for those who tuned in. There is somewhat of a big announcement. So you were tuning into
somewhat, I would say,
this is a very big announcement.
The biggest announcement since .p was announced.
Okay, all right, maybe the biggest announcement since .p was announced.
The biggest announcement since
one of our biggest announcements. How about that? So starting next week, we will be discontinuing Counterattack. This is the final Counterattack. I know. So many of you.
I know. It was a great concept. I came up with it.
I know.
And I also murdered it.
Mm-hmm.
I also, bring it into this world. You can take it out.
That's right.
You know.
We are going to be replacing Counterattack with a new pro-centric show. And now I know some of you are going, oh God, here we go again. This will not be me. I'm proud reading to you from Liquipedia.
It's going to be me.
That's going to be Roland.
I have become a top-tier analyst, and I am going to be taking up the reins on a new
it's not going to be
Friday
that either. No, instead, we have a very notable Dota 2 personality. You have seen...
just a notable personality in general.
Right, and you have seen him casting at some pretty major Dota events recently. He has agreed to come on and start working with us and utilizing his connections to bring in panelists to really delve into the scene with people from the scene and help us kind of fill that slot that we've needed to in I think the right way, in the way that we haven't really been able to in the past.
A la KBBQ.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, not that I don't love Jack, but I think in some ways this show will even be an improvement over that. I think that it will be capable of surpassing that. So I'm very excited about it. We are not announcing the name of the caster yet because
you have to tune in Monday.
You got to tune in Monday for that. We are finalizing talks and contracts and everything with him over the weekend, and hopefully tomorrow, hopefully Friday, when you guys are listening to this today, Friday. I gotcha. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be finalizing all of that, and we can announce it officially on on Monday's Proudland. Yeah. So that being said, we are going to carry on with the seventh and final Counterattack.
I think it's seventh and final.
Okay.
I think we did this for 7 weeks.
For 7 weeks,
and I learned a lot.
Yeah, because everybody told us that we would get repeats.
But remember,
and I don't think we got one repeat.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. No, we never played the same hero twice. Either of us.
No. You know what? I just realized you and I won't record together anymore.
Whoa.
That'll be. We'll still record together on Patreon exclusive episodes. But yeah, I just realized that. Yeah. Wow. And my life will be better for it, probably. No, we will find a way for you and I to record together. That feels like a crime if we don't do that. You and I joked about doing Saturday shows together sometimes. Oh God.
With me. Yeah, that actually is kind of sad.
It is kind of sad. That's weird to see that this has evolved.
That it's evolved to the point where we're not even recording.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. To think about. All right, I'm going to carry on, though, as normal, even though I have tears welling in my eyes. Okay. So,
hey, do you want to hear about my baby?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. because people love to hear about my baby.
Oh, no.
Even when I'm asked direct questions about it.
Oh, no.
By the way, Christian, you hurt my feelings.
Oh.
I want you to know that. You hurt my feelings. I even conceded. I'm sorry for using the T word, and I never will again. I want to say that on the show.
Okay.
My point was straw man, and I honestly, listening back to it, I realized you sound like a fucking idiot. And I was in the wrong. I was ignorant, and I apologize because words carry heavy connotation, and there's some words you just don't use because you stand nothing to gain by using them. And there are other words that you can use to replace them.
Absolutely.
Like instead of Cyphus, Denny. You know
hey,
what I mean?
Look
like,
at that.
Like
That's
that
the worst example ever.
But yes, I'm in all honesty, I apologize for what I said.
And okay, I'm going on. So this game was fun actually. This game was fun even though we lost and we lost pretty hard. I played Vengeful Spirit. Roland played Spirit Breaker. I knew it was going to be a hard game when, we had the high MMR on our team. He was significantly higher than the rest of us. At least
Wasn't it the Invoker?
Yeah, it was the Invoker.
Yeah.
I mean, he was playing you were on your 2K account, so we were, I think, averaging like 22 or 2300 on the game MMR.
Yeah. My MMR on that account is below 2K on both party and solo. So
okay.
I was bringing that average down.
Okay.
Sure.
I know we felt it in the caliber of teammates that we received.
With the exception of the Invoker. We felt it with my play.
Well, you did some dumb shit, but not like you weren't. You and I were owning, I think, the early part of that game.
Yeah, we had some
those
really
first 6 or 7 minutes.
Gank Squad, I mean, we would have to practice it for sure again.
Yeah,
but we were getting in the groove of Gank Squad.
I feel like it was maybe a little honestly, I feel like the roaming that we did was a little unnecessary. Especially because the Invoker who went mid was a 3K player who was partied with a guy who ran Alchemist, Safe Lane, and first item Midas. That was really painful. I knew it was going to be a tough game when I realized that those two were partied in the chat together.
He said, "I'm going to go Techies," because he
was going to pick Techies, and my God, I wish he had.
And we're like, all right, I was totally fine with the Techies.
I was too. I had no problem.
Just because that meant we could have filled the carry role,
right?
Or
the carry and the support role, and we could have just let him do what he was.
It's a Techies, and he'll get kills, and he'll drag the game on. He'll do Techies things, whatever. Yeah. Honestly, I don't have all the I hate Techies.
I hate Techies as well, but in that particular instance, I would have preferred that the guy was playing Techies because we knew that his buddy was 3K, and we were in a 2300 average game, which meant that this guy was maybe 1,000 MMR. Yeah. He was bringing the overall average down
quick one
consistently.
Hero I hate more than Techies, Sniper.
Really? Okay.
That 5-hour long game?
Yeah.
Sniper. Mm-hmm. Sniper v Techies.
So
I hate that. I hate the dragging on heroes.
No, I'm with you. Those games are really painful.
Every time there's a sniper in a game, it's either you win at 25 minutes or the game goes on way longer than it should.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it has to do with range. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, and shrapnel. I mean, you're good at
the shrapnel charges in range. I feel like if they
plus you throw in a level 25. Is it level 25 where Sniper gets his
plus 4 charges?
Yeah,
it is level 25.
So I mean, you're talking about he's able
unlimited. Basically,
he's able to throw down shrapnel to D-push with a great frequency.
I feel like Take Aim could take a nerf. And Dragon Lance.
I'm okay with Take Aim. I'm okay with Sniper. I'm okay with Sniper. I don't have. I
mean, he's 50% win rate. So I mean, what can you? I mean, he's obviously balanced.
Yeah. So we knew this game was going to be tough because of the Alki safe lane. Just the pick and just realizing okay, this guy's party with that guy. He's going to be low MMR. He's going to run Alchemist safe lane. His buddy's running Invoker mid. The team would not pick we couldn't get them to pick anything. In fact, after the Invoker first picked and went mid, the guy who had intended to jungle, I thought initially we were going to get to pick an offlaner, but he, thankfully, neither you nor I got randomed, which one of us would have had to abandon that game if we had randomed. Was the shitty thing.
Oh, yeah.
But he randomed an Underlord, and we talked him into going off lane. So we had an Alki safe lane, we had an Invoker mid, we had an Underlord off lane. So Roland and I wound up playing the 4 and the 5 respectively. With that Alki in the safe lane, what I was going to say is he was bad, but he skilled Greevils first, and then he skilled Unstable Concoction second.
And people are talking now that you need to do like a 4-0-1-1 because the radius of acid spray is so small at lower levels now with the right?
Yeah.
So
that was the nerf.
So acid spray needs to get leveled first so that you can get more of a bang for your buck.
So the fact that he went Unstable Concoction second level made me kind of think we should have probably hung around in the safe lane. We had two reliable stuns, and then your bash in charge. We could have just owned a single lane rather than trying to make space in all three.
He was not an Alchemist player, that's for sure. That was probably the first time he's ever played Alchemist.
Well, and even worse was, and I can't remember what item it was that he put in his backpack, but I guess I could look the game up. No, it wasn't. Oh, that's right, it was. Late in the game, he decided to finally ditch the Midas at about 45 minutes into the game. And
he got a Midas suit, like, not even that early, like, probably like an 8-minute Midas or something like that.
On Alchemist.
And that should be an armlet.
It should be a lot of things. Even if it's not an armlet, like, I would get it if he's a lower skill player and he doesn't feel confident on the armlet. I get it. I mean, obviously,
but
Midas
Alchemist is the easiest
ridiculous.
hero with armlet. Because when you have ult on,
you can
just leave armlet on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But regardless, we had a lot of stun. I wonder if we shouldn't have just owned that singular lane. But yeah, this is where I was going. Late in the game, he ditched the Midas for a gem. And I mean, I was on top of the sentry game, like late game. I had sentries everywhere. There was no need for him to fill his 6th slot.
Maelstrom.
And he not only did he have the gem in his 6th slot, but he was sitting on 6K gold. He hadn't bought anybody in Ags. He hadn't done. He didn't have a moon shard.
His build was lame, like a donkey is lame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his build was really bad. So he did the Radiance. He did the Octarine core, but he didn't do the Manta.
Yeah,
which makes no sense. I mean, Octarine core is good for the health.
Sure,
it provides a lot of health.
Sure.
I guess it heals you from Radiance
and your acid spray.
But I mean, it's for cooling down the Manta.
I don't want to talk a lot about the Alki because fuck it. I think we've said I think everything we've said up to this point is enough to know that the Alchemist was a big problem for us. The Underlord definitely fed that off lane and fed that Slark, which was really unfortunate. But I don't think that was the big problem. I think the problem was that we had an Alchemist safe lane carry who just wasn't getting the farm.
And they had Slark. They had
Slark,
Quaff, Silencer, Natures.
I would say the Natures and the Slark is what made that game tough. The Pudge was pretty
Natures
bad.
Was good.
Yeah, Natures was pretty good. The Slark was just a fed Slark. Go figure. The Pudge was. I felt like we could deal with the Pudge. I felt like we could deal with the Queen of Pain. The Silencer with his fucking refresher orb at about 30 minutes was pretty goddamn annoying.
It was really pretty cool. 10 seconds of silence.
Yeah.
And he was good at I was able to get like one spell off in between him refreshing. So it would be silence. 5 seconds later, I would charge somebody and then silence, and it'd be like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
fuck.
it was really annoying to say the least.
It was.
Okay, so let's do a quick overview here of these heroes. So Venge is 49th in popularity with an overall 52.59% win rate. I don't remember. Did she get touched in 705?
I want to say no.
I'm gonna take just a quick.
I want to say no.
Yeah, you're correct. So nothing changed with Vengeful recently this week. I mean, she's an overall good hero. She has a 52 to 53% win rate no matter what lane she's in. She's one of my favorite supports. I love playing her. She's great. She's a lot of fun.
Dynamic, I think, is
right.
a good.
And she has that ability to transfer into a core. Or transition into a core late game. I mean, hell, you see the pros running her as a core all the time.
I don't feel like I've ever seen it effective, but I don't watch a lot of pro games. So
yeah, I've
and
seen
I'm
a
sure
couple of really impressive pro Venges. I guess the thinking behind, I mean, obviously I ran her as a support here, so this conversation is relatively moot, but the thinking behind Venge, you got to be way ahead, though. You want to be.
You have to be like an item ahead to be equal, almost.
Right. Well, to be dominating, you need to be ahead.
I mean, but if you look at this, so what I found out about these trending guides is these are the top players.
Right.
So these are like the
who
top
have played
Venges.
matches recently.
Like these are the top Venges in these trending guides on Dota Buff. So as you can see here, this Venge definitely went.
Nobody else can see.
Carry. Well, as you can see, is what I'm talking to. Venge went Treads, Yasha, Hurricane Pike, Butterfly.
Yeah.
In this one a very close match. Anyway, Venge. What I love, I love the fact that she, like, swap can be used in so many cool and creative ways.
Yeah. Offensively, defensively.
Offensive, defensive.
That about covers it.
Yeah. In a utility,
yeah.
that would probably be...
No, you know, my favorite thing to do when you're playing Venge and you got shitty teammates is to swap them and take last hits on creeps. Now, you get a little trolly with it.
Sorry for my yawn.
Okay, let's go over Spirit Breaker real quick. So, 19th in popularity and 54% win rate.
54.41% win rate. Yeah, I remember first starting Dota and going to Denny and being like, because when we first started, there were heroes that we had to overcome. It was like Ricky was the first one. It was like, God, and this was old Ricky, and I can't even remember exactly what old Ricky did because I feel like he's been fixed so many times.
Well, old Ricky, his ult was the Blink Strike.
Yeah, and he had charges on it.
Yeah.
And I think there was maybe even an older Ricky than that. I feel like he's been reworked like 5 times since then. Anyway, like figuring out how to overcome Ricky was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And then there was Silencer.
Yeah.
And old Silencer.
Hell, there's still a Silencer.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I kind of like buy a stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do that type of thing. And then there was Spirit Breaker. And I was like, this dude... There's nothing you can do. And I was playing Nature's Prophet all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just bullshit, man. Like, he's always getting
wherever I go. Yeah. Wherever I go.
Yeah. So
I remember my first game on Spirit Breaker and being like, oh my God, the power.
My first time playing and realizing I don't need teleport scrolls.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do, but you feel like.
But I mean, damn.
You weren't building boots at the time, so.
I don't need boots. It was just Nature's, I think, that I wasn't building boots. You guys gave me so much shit about that. I have so much shit that I still get shit. All right, let's go over lineups. And
so like we mentioned, we had we were the second team to pick, so we got the second to last pick for our team and the last pick for our team, even though we lost some gold in the process.
I was at 580, so I lost what?
We lost
45.
Yeah, we lost like 45. At least 40 gold.
And somebody got randomed.
Yes.
Somebody got randomly randomed.
The Underlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the order for the enemy team, their first pickup was a Pudge. Go figure. I was actually kind of liking this because I thought we were going to be playing 4 and 5 anyway, and I was seeing Abaddon pop up to the top of the list, and I was like, God, we haven't played Abaddon yet. And Theorycraft did it yesterday, and how we could have an Abaddon lineup this week.
Mm-hmm. And they won. They won their game.
Yeah. So Abaddon, Undying, Dazzle over on the support utility side, and Chaos Knight, Lycan, and Ursa were popping up initially. After that, the enemy team picked up Nature's Prophet, and this is when we first started to see Spirit Breaker popping towards the top of the list. He was third on support utility. Although he was behind Undying and Beastmaster, we were kind of thinking you might end up playing Beastmaster off lane when that guy was talking about jungling at this point.
I was hoping because it's something new, and I've been playing Micro Meepo, so I was thinking like, okay, maybe I'll be better at throwing hawks around and micro boars and all that. I was kind of excited at the prospect of Beastmaster, but I knew it wouldn't stay at the top.
Yeah, I mean, it never does. But then Queen of Pain pops into the list, and this is where Roland started getting excited
because Meepo is second pick right here.
And for those that don't know or haven't been paying attention to the stream, which Roland does every day at 12:30 Eastern, by the way, if you guys ever want to tune in.
1:30 Eastern.
1:30 Eastern.
I usually start about 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
But no later than 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
So in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, late mornings Pacific Time, you can tune into twitch.tv/.ptv and see Roland playing
Meepo.
Probably just Meepo these days, yeah.
I have 32 games in a row right now.
Hey, I'll say...
not in a row. Sorry, not in a row, because I
row.
have one Invoker game and then the Spirit Breaker game from this.
Right.
Meepo got banned in one game because I think somebody was like, I don't know what to ban. I'll just ban Meepo. and then, because I wasn't even hovering. Like, I don't hover anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people on my team to ban the Meepo or anything. And then I played an Invoker game, which I was totally trash at. I really was. And there were people in there that were Invoker players, and they're just like face palming, I'm sure. Just like, they're like, Cold Snap's a really good ability, dude. And I'm like, is that Q, Q, Q? Or how does that work? Anyway.
So Queen of Pain, though, also had Chaos Knight at the top of the list. There was also the possibility one of us was going to carry. I mean, it feels kind of redundant to go over the heroes that were popping to the top of the list because a lot of things were not very clear at this point.
Yeah.
Then the enemy team picked up Silencer, and this is where we knew that we were going to be playing the 4 and the 5. So Abaddon was at the very top of the support utility list, but he was banned. This is when I realized that he was fucking banned. And I wasn't going to get to have an Abaddon game, and I hadn't been fucking paying attention to what had been banned and was popping up to the top of the list. And since I felt like it was better to lock the 5 here than it was the 4, even though Spirit Breaker was really at the top of the list, it might not have been a bad idea to lock Spirit right there. But I locked the Vengeful Spirit, which was the top 5 position support.
Mm-hmm.
The last pickup for the enemy team was the Slark, and Slark dropped Venge quite a bit. This is why I wish I had been able to do. I wish I had been able to play the Omni. I really do kind of wish I had played the Omni.
Would have made a huge difference.
Just to have that repel for the Slark.
Well, not only for Slark, but for the Scream, unless Quap gets Ags. And Rot. It allows you to get away from Rot.
If I have repel on you before
before
silence goes off, does it block silence?
Silence pierces spell immunity. Yeah. So how it works is
that's what I thought.
So this is how it works. If I get silenced and I have a BKB,
right, I can pop the BKB.
Silence goes away. But if I'm BKB'd and he hits silence, I'm silenced.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that much. So, I mean, of course, they would apply that way to Omni. But regardless, I would have rather played Omni Knight here. But this put Spirit Breaker at the very top of the support utility list.
He's good. It's saying that he has an advantage over literally every hero on their team.
Yes.
Some more so than others, obviously.
And yeah, the two that are far more so were the Natures and Silencer. But we'll get into that here as we delve into the specific picks. Yep. So Roland locks Spirit Breaker, we head into the game. And like we said, we lose. It's about a 52-minute game, 53-minute game.
It's one of those games where you're losing the whole time, but it has to go 52 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm Mr. Positivity the whole time. I'm like, this game's in the bag, man.
It's always possible they're going to throw.
Yeah, throw is... Yeah,
and that's what we were hoping for. We needed a throw.
There were a couple pretty good job at throwing it.
Yeah,
we just didn't do a good job at catching. Catching the throw.
So I'm gonna get these heroes pulled up here. Let's go ahead and kick off with Venge since I already got her with Pudge. So Venge versus Pudge, according to old Dota buff, has a negative 0.1% advantage. Or disadvantage, excuse me, with a 50.26% win rate over Pudge. Pudge is, of course, sitting at a 52.27% win rate and is the first most popular hero.
Yeah.
So Pudge's win rate goes down when he's playing against a Vengeful Spirit. I'll say it was pretty obvious for me why that was the case. Literally everything in Venge's toolkit works to Pudge's disadvantage. Magic Missile is a pretty decent high damage stun, and Pudge is a slow bastard. Before he has Blink, if I get you with a stun, you is fucked. On top of that, you can throw in the Scream, the Wave of Terror, which allows me to reduce your armor. He's a tanky bastard. Reducing his armor makes all of my allies' attacks that much harder, that much stronger.
He's beefy. He's not beefy. Tanky, because that tanky implies armor. He has shit
sure.
armor.
Tanky, beefy, I think apply about the same thing. Well, regardless.
When I think of a tank, I think of armored.
When I think of tank, I think of somebody who takes a lot of hits to take down.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
So having the armor reduction from Scream, super good. Obviously, that melds nicely with Venge's vengeful, aura. So you're hitting that much harder whenever I snag you. And even better, what does Pudge want to do? He wants to hook you out of position. And what is Venge good at? Swapping you back right into position.
It's the big thing that I see with Pudge Venge and why I think it makes a 2% difference is somebody's getting dismembered and you swap.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's hooking you out of position. I'm able to swap you right back.
Well, yeah. Well, you're able to get somebody who's like...
Or even better, usually, I didn't do
somebody's getting dismembered and he's... and you can swap either one of them.
Yeah, either one is a decent option.
Honestly, maybe swapping Pudge is the better
That's what I was
idea.
just about to say.
Because then it puts 2v1 instead of you now taking the place of the other person.
Yeah.
So now it's you guys both united front against the Pudge.
Well, or your hopefully odds are you're swapping Pudge into more allies, and then you guys are cutting him off in the as he tries to escape.
I really think it has to do with the long range of swap, and that you can bust up on him and swap. Like you can get there and swap somebody out.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Okay, so Spirit Breaker has an overall win rate of 54 to 55% win rate. In between 54 and 55, it's like 54.41 or something like that. Pudge has an advantage of 0.49% over Spirit Breaker. So Pudge is good against Spirit Breaker. There's a lot of things that make sense about that. Spirit Breaker still wins 51.57% of the time, and that's over a humongous pool of games.
Yeah.
Because Spirit Breaker's like 5th most picked, and Pudge is 1st most picked.
Like 19th, I think.
Scroll up. I want to see. I want to know.
19th.
Oh, 19th. Okay, sorry. Because of that obviously they're going to match up against each other a lot. So they have 781,000 games. This is this current patch, right? That's how we look at this, or is this overall?
This is, I believe, over the last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
this month. Yeah, excuse me.
Whatever. Not much has changed. Regarding these two heroes. So
Spirit's still coming out on top more
Spirit
often
is
than
coming
Pudge.
because, I mean, I don't know. He's good. I think Spirit. So you see Pudge in every single game.
Yeah.
And then you see Spirit Breaker in a lot of games, and Spirit Breaker has a higher overall win rate at 54 opposed to Pudge's 52. So the big reason why I think Pudge does have an advantage is a good Pudge, and we saw it even a couple times this game, can hook me when I'm charging.
Yeah.
A good Pudge can, while I'm in that long ass animation for Nether Strike is what it's called. When I'm trying to Nether Strike you, he can just be like dismember, and it stops that. It stops that
or
hook me.
Yeah.
Also, I can't really run away from him if charge is on cooldown and he's rotting me, and I can't really turn and fight him either that well.
Well, and you think about the bash damage that you do to Pudge. That's based off of your current movement speed, and Rot is actively reducing your movement speed, which means he's actually, he's kind of through a roundabout way reducing the damage that you're doing when you are bashing him.
Yeah, when you just decide, okay, I'll wait for charge to be on cooldown and I'll man fight you. Pudge has the hook that he can easily grab you with. Not easily, but I mean, I've seen it, and it's happened to me plenty of times where I've been in a charge and Pudge hooks me, and I'm done. Yeah. I have a 10
well, and he can hook you when you try to charge away. I can see the slight advantage, but it's still such a skill shot that I suspect that the skill shot element of that Pudge requires is partially why you see Spirit Breaker still come out on top with a win rate.
And well, also that Pudge is in every game, and Spirit Breaker Pudge is only one of the the 5 on the team, so Spirit Breaker is good against a lot of heroes.
So,
because I like Proud keeps saying, and I agree with him completely on this. This is like such a skirmishy meta.
Yeah.
If like a fight breaks loose with a 2v2, I can make that a 3v2 really quick.
Yeah, for sure.
As Spirit Breaker, so.
Yeah, I think that about covers it with old Pudge. Let's take a look at Nature's Prophet. So when it comes to Vengeful Spirit, she has a 0.12% advantage over Nature's Prophet with a 59.73% win rate. Now, Nature's...
because he has such a dismally low... Nature's so
58th most popular with a 44% win rate.
Is he trending upward at least since 7.05? Because he got a +6 damage.
Yeah, he went from 42.69 to 40, to this 45. So, I mean, he got about a 2.5% win rate bump.
So +6 damage gives him a little bit. He's getting picked more often, too.
Yeah, he's definitely getting picked more often.
What was he, April 8th?
So he was sitting at 5.64% and
now
7.6.
So he's gone up from probably like 80th to 58th.
Yeah. As far as with Venge, I guess the big thing I noticed is, so one, Natures can be one of those slippery bastards, right? He has the ability to get away. How many times have you tried to run out and stop that bastard from pushing your lane in, and you've wanted to halt him in some way? Venge has a stun to at least put a little bit of that to rest, and even better is that she is capable of swapping somebody, and this is what I noticed in that game. I can swap you. Several times I saw you get swapped, or I saw you get tree trapped, and I swapped you out of it. Mm-hmm. Several times I saw that Invoker get tree trapped, and I swapped him out of it.
Yeah.
That was maybe the only like custom suitable to Venge. I see
another custom thing.
All right.
What happens when Nature's tree traps himself to TP away?
You can get vision of him.
You can Wave of Terror in there and then stun.
And then
which
or
is
swap,
huge.
Either
or swap. Yeah. So which is huge because usually Nature's is like, haha, we're on the same ground, so you can't see me. I'm tree trapped and TPing away, and you just have to sit there because you don't have a quelling blade. And go, damn. Whereas you can just wave in there, see him,
very
stun
true.
him.
Very
so
true.
That's the big thing that I noticed with Venge.
So I mean, I can see Venge having a slight advantage over Nature's, not a huge advantage, and it's just obvious. Venge is such a good hero and fits in so many different. That was me. The phones. She fits into so many different team comps and does so effectively. And with Nature's being as weak as he is right now, I think that kind of explains the slight advantage that Dota Buff calculates are having over him, as well as the massive win rate disparity.
So, based on what I just said, where I completely agree with Proud, this being a skirmishy meta, you would think that would be good for Nature's. Because 2v2 breaks out, bam, I'm there, I'm Nature's. Problem is Nature's doesn't really have a bunch of... Nature's doesn't have a stun. Nature's doesn't have a silence.
Well,
Nature's has a disable, but it's a disable where it's like a round fissure that doesn't do damage.
Do you think some of that has to do with how people are playing him, though? Because look at his presence in lanes and look at his win rate.
70% jungle.
70% in the jungle with only a 41.6% win rate. 17% off lane, because I remember hearing about the old Nature's Prophet off lane with a 43.8, basically a 44% win rate in the off lane, but it jumps to a 47.5% win rate when he's roaming. I wonder if people just aren't playing him incorrectly. I mean, maybe he would be, maybe he's just but at the same time, he's just a subpar 4 support at that point.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to teleports and awesome. So the ability that is no longer as awesome as it was, I think, is trees. Not tree trap, but making treants.
Right.
Pushing lanes is great, but people are everywhere because of bounty runes, I want to say. Because there's incentive to move.
Right. And we've talked about this on this show and Proudland and Theorycraft.
And like switch out like summoning trees for like a silence or something like that, and then he jumps up to like a because if he TPs in, he spawns trees, and then he right clicks like a wet noodle. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking early game skirmish.
Yeah.
Like Nature's Prophet, thanks for TPing.
Well, and his disable isn't even that great of a disable. I mean,
no, it's a disable where they're like, okay, I'm going to stand and fight.
If you don't have something to follow up, sometimes tree trapping me might help me. In a lot of situations. I mean, obviously this is situational, but I mean, there are just too many situations where tree trap is not enough of a disable. I don't know. Yeah, he's just overall super weak.
He just. And so it's kind of hard to quantify. I try and quantify it.
Let's talk. I mean, while we're talking about Nature's, let's talk about Spirit Breaker versus Nature's, because he is the one hero who, anytime I was playing in a pub and I didn't know what to play, and I was going to be playing off lane, or I was going to be playing like a roaming support, the moment I saw Nature's Prophet, I just locked the Spirit Breaker and know that I was going to make one guy's life completely hell.
Misery. So Nature's is also isn't only countered by Spirit Breaker. Nature's is countered by Storm Spirit. Nature's is countered by Distance Closers. But Spirit Breaker is one of the bigger ones. So Spirit Breaker has a 0.4% advantage over Nature's, but a 62.5% win rate. Okay, I mean, it just makes sense. This goes back to Nature's and split pushing. Even Nature's with a Shadow Blade. I'm still charging you, and
if you're smart, you're carrying dust.
Really, and Spirit Breaker may be the best hero in the game to carry dust.
Yeah,
Because he's lunging himself right into everything.
And even better is I get to maintain vision of you even after you use that Shadow Blade. I at least know where you are. I know my dust is going to go off.
Yeah, and I know.
And then I'm going to slow you. And then you're going to be fucked.
Then I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna stun you, and then I'm gonna.
Well, I just mean like that dust. How much does dust slow? This is something I shouldn't.
15%
I know I should know off the top of my head,
or something like that.
But I mean, I know for sure I'm gonna get that many more. I'm gonna get that many more attacks off on you. Negative 20% slow.
20%. Okay, so a lot. But that's if they are still invisible.
Right.
So if you dust before you hit them, it'll slow them. But if you hit them, I think
you can't hit them because they're invis. You only hit them with the charge.
You're right. You hit them and then dust, then they're slowed.
You hit them,
and then,
dust, they're slowed, and then you just bash the shit out of them and nether strike them. And
I think they're only slowed while they're invisible, though.
No, that slow applies for. Oh shit! Of course, I just.
I'm pretty sure they're only slowed while they're invisible. Am I wrong?
No, because no
duration. You're not 20% slower for 12 seconds. I think you have to be invisible the entire time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's 20% for 12 seconds.
Reveals and slows invisible heroes in a nearby area. I don't know. I would love to hear some feedback on. There's no way that like if I have a Shadow Blade and you dust me and then I attack you, that I'm slowed for 20% for 11 more seconds.
Yes,
that's absurd. No, I don't think so.
You reject the notion outright.
I don't think so.
I'm positive that that's how it is.
Okay. Well, positive. I will take the negative on that.
Okay.
And I would love to hear.
Yeah, we will hear. We won't be able to announce it on this show, but hey, somebody can break it up.
It's a good reason to tune in
That's
to Proudland.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. It's obvious why Spirit Breaker is good against Nature's. Nature's wants to split push. Anytime Nature shows himself, I'm going to charge him. When Nature tries to TP home, I have another disabled to stop it. So upon charging him and hitting him,
and hell, you have the opportunity of just your right click stopping it from happening.
I have 2 reliable stuns and 1 17er.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything really more to say?
There's not.
You're looking for somebody to be alone, really a Spirit Breaker in that instance. Okay, so Queen of Pain, Vengeful Spirit versus Queen of Pain. Queen has a 0.64% advantage over Vengeful. Meanwhile, Venge still has a 60.69% win rate over Queen of Pain. This again, one of those things that's speaking more to the dismal win rate of QoPs worldwide. QoP overall has a 42.7% win rate. I think we've discussed this before with poor Queen on this show. This is not the first time we have been able to counterattack against a Queen. She's weak. She's way weak. Now,
why?
Why? Because she's
like I want to try and understand.
Okay,
I mean, way.
I think it's because I don't think she gets to be a right clicker. I mean, it wasn't Proud talking on Proudland that Shadow Strike is it Shadow Strike that's all but worthless. Later on in the game, the dagger that he generally feels.
It's a good slow. It's 50% slow.
Right, but I think it was on Proudland specifically that he was saying later on especially by the time you're maxing Shadow Strike, it's basically worthless to him because it's way better to spend the amount of time based on that cast point just right clicking and throwing out damage. So she's a super fucking squishy right clicker who, has everything else blocked by BKB.
She's kind of a blow your load hero where she's like blinking, E, ult, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, is that the issue?
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think all of that's part of it. So
where she can't like if her like blinking in doesn't get everything done, then she's not good, I guess. I don't know.
So as far as her advantage over Venge, I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that it sucks when your ultimate is canceled more or less by another hero's standard ability, and in this case, it's Blink. When I swap when Vengeful Spirit swaps a Queen of Pain into allies, Quap can just blink right on back to where the fuck she was, and I might even be alone with her at that point.
Alternatively, though, she can blink, and you can swap her back, and then
sure.
Blink's on cooldown.
But what's the... So here's the next test we gotta do.
You can kill her.
Blink's range is 1,300, and Swap's range is 1,200.
We're talking 100 units.
But we're also talking that's only 100 units after I hit level 18 and completely max out my ult. Sure. And then I'm still 100 units shy of her max.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to do. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that doesn't really do anything, unfortunately.
No, but there's a it makes sense that she has an advantage. You stun her, she blinks away.
Right.
You swap her, she blinks away.
She also does a high amount of burst damage, and I'm a squishy support typically, and I'm a squishy carry if I'm not a squishy support.
Well, you kind of because you're an agi hero, your tank comes from armor, so you're kind of magic weak.
Yeah, sure.
And she's magic strong.
That's what she's looking to do.
So yeah.
So I feel like at least for me, that I definitely felt that I knew I was never going to be swapping Quap unless I saw her
swap a
blink
Quap.
Dumbly
swap
somewhere.
Quap.
So on the flip side, let's talk about poor Spirit Breaker versus Queen of Pain.
Well, so negative 1.31%, and a 62% win rate. So that just goes to show that Spirit Breaker is a good hero and Queen of Pain is a bad hero right now.
I feel like we say that all the time.
Yeah, even though Quap has a sizable advantage over Spirit Breaker, she still loses often to him.
Where do you think the advantage comes from? Where do you think this advantage that Dota Buff is calculating comes from?
I have to get lucky if I'm going to kill a Quap. Like, I charge a Quap, sure. I charge the Quap and I hit her.
Right.
I then need a bash in order to get Nether Strike.
Right.
And then I need another bash to kill her, probably. So I need to get, like, Gaben's Green God Earth lucky to, like...
You gotta get up on the mic.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You gotta... So, like, I gotta charge her.
Yeah.
Knocks her back for not very long.
Right.
Bash her. That's enough time for me to Nether Strike. Ult. Good. She's almost dead now. Then I need to bash again. And then she'll probably die. Like, I'm not killing her.
Yeah,
usually.
Odds are you're not killing her.
And she just blinks away. I charge her,
and
she blinks away.
And she has a slow that, again, reduces your damage in the process.
Oh, yeah, and her chasing me, like, she can dance circles around me. She can slow me, which, once again, affects my damage.
Right.
She can scream on me, which blows. She can jump in and scream on me, which is technically the scream is E.
Uh-huh.
We could, Valve
they're all screams, yeah.
Valve devs, can we just call this scream the scream?
Yeah, instead of Sonic Wave.
Yeah, instead of Sonic Wave, can we just go ahead and call her the E, this Sonic Wave, and the Scream of Pain, her ult?
And just call her E.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I just can't kill her.
That makes sense.
I think she can kite me. I can't.
Right.
And
she has the ability to deal with the Spirit Breaker. You are required to either A, have an item that can silence her.
She can kite me so hard. Like, she throws that dagger
or root
and then
her, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to Rod of Atos on Spirit Breaker.
Be pretty sweet, actually. But because Rod of Atos is just fucking good. But like, yeah, I'm going to charge, hit her. She's going to blink away. And then she can even re-engage and be like, okay, dagger, right click. And I'm just like, no. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're fucker rude.
Yeah.
All right, so let's delve into Silencer. This is a hero that Vengeful Spirit has a 0.33% advantage over, according to Dota Buff, with only a slight advantage in the win rate overall at 50.31%.
Balanced heroes.
Yeah, they are relative. He's at a 52.6% win rate overall compared to 52.59 for Venge. They're both decently strong heroes, and when those decently strong heroes go toe to toe, they come out about even. Obviously, I don't know, with Silencer, is there anything beyond what the run of the mill bullshit that Silencer does that makes life tough for Venge? I I mean,
he could do like a really like he could. Sorry, I keep leaning away from my mic for some reason. I've been like taught to not do this. He could do like a really clutch silence when you were about to swap or something, but that's run of the mill. You're right.
It's all normal stuff that gives him the.
It's one of those once again that we've said so many times on Counterattack, where it's like it's just good.
But I mean, no, I mean, I'm just talking like I don't see this is from his advantage as far as Venge's advantage. I feel like if silence is down, silencer
squishy, you can bring him into the pack. I think that's
right.
I think that's your advantage.
Yeah, he doesn't have that much that he can do. I've got a brutal stun. I've got the ability to completely pull you out of position, and Silencer is a hero that relies very heavily on his positioning.
Yeah, Silencer, yeah, you're right. He does.
So, I mean, that's my thing. I think positioning, I think her ability to take advantage of Silencers need to be in the right position is what gives her that slight edge. Right. So, looking over at Spirit Breaker v Silencer. One of your best. Yeah, one of my best, but the win rate's kind of surprising. Let's look at Silencer's win rate real quick. I'm curious. Yeah, 52.6.
52.6. Okay, so Spirit Breaker has a perfect 1% advantage over Silencer with a 52.61% win rate. This comes from what Danny just said, as far as Silencer is a position-conscious hero. And if I am charging a position-conscious hero like Sniper, or like Silencer, or like,
Drow,
or,
if we're going to keep looking for examples.
Yeah. That sucks for them. Like Silencer. And what's he going to do? He's going to last word me or something? Okay, well, I'm going to Nether Strike you still. And you're still going to die. You're squishy. You don't want me near you. And you really have no way to get away. Although Silencers build 4 stabs, but a 4 stab doesn't get you out of range of Nether Strike.
Yeah.
At least I don't think.
Yeah, no.
Or at least I can press W and run up a little bit and catch up. If worse comes to worse.
All right. So Slark, I'm kind of interested to talk about because he was the kind of the star player of their team, and this is where I felt disadvantaged. And if you look at Slark v Venge by the stats, Venge is disadvantaged. Slark has a 0.42% advantage over her, but Venge has a 54.2% win rate over Slark. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to think about this. As far as the win rate goes for old Slark, I think that has more to do with the fact that his win rate's a little bit abysmal. Yeah, it's 48%, so he's slightly weaker, at least for now. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the difference in the win rate. I think that more or less accounts for it. Mm-hmm. And Venge is a hero with a stun and lockdown, and frequently Slarks are looking to get away. I think that's Swap's good.
Swap's really good.
I think more than anything, it's this. Obviously, Swap is always good, but I think the stun. I think it's the fact that she has a stun. I think Slark doesn't want to get locked down, and more importantly, of late, if you've got Venges that are going late game, if there's a super long game that's coming down to a Slark via Venge also has a stun that can pierce BKB later on down the road.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, there are a number of ways, and Slark doesn't want to build BKB to begin with.
And you can do damage to him while he's in Shadow Dance.
As I got 1 kill with a Scream.
Did
game.
You?
Yes.
When he was Shadow Dance?
He Shadow Dance, or is it Shadow Dance?
Yeah, I think it's called Shadow Dance.
He popped his ulti at the tiniest sliver of health, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going for it. I threw a Scream out, and I just...
It's called Wave of Terror.
Yeah.
It's called Wave of Terror.
I mean, but it's a Scream for her, too. They're all Screams.
Yeah, they are.
Everybody screams. Which is sexist, I think, that all the women scream. But Beastmaster roars.
Yeah, Beast, that's a scream.
That's a roar. He roars. Women scream.
Yeah.
Sexist.
Yeah.
Sexist Dota.
A little bit.
Sexist. But no, as far as Slark's advantage over Venge, more often than not, I'm playing her as a support, and I think that's still how Venge is primarily played. Let's see. I don't know. She runs safe lane 53% of the time. I guess I can't really tell if she is primarily support or core, but I'm guessing that she's primarily run support still by a heavy margin. And you're super squishy. Slark likes to get up on top of you. He likes to eat all them juicy stats and kill you really quickly.
I think Swap's your biggest thing, dude. I really do, against Slark.
But I mean, she's disadvantaged. And I felt it.
I know. I know. I mean, Slark.
And like, what am I going to do if he pounces on me and I don't see him? My options then
swap
are
somebody else in, and then they're not pounced.
Yeah, they're not pounced, but they're 2 feet away from a Slark that they'd rather not be right next to. More likely than not.
There was one moment in that game when I got pounced, and had you just immediately swapped me, everything would have been okay.
Yeah.
And I did the thing that everybody does. Instead of turning around and fighting Slark, I run and then try and run away. Let go! I don't even think you need to tell the story. Honestly.
Oh, it's hilarious. I'm absolutely going to tell the story because it's funny. It's funny as fuck.
Okay.
So did you ever see the episode of Cops?
You know I have.
With the little person who they're arresting because he's on PCP, and they have to initially get him to climb down from like the telephone pole. It's a hilarious sequence. It's all over YouTube. I'm sure people have seen it. But at one point they cuff him and he goes, I'm gonna break these cuffs. And that's what I think of every time I see somebody running and trying. You're not going to break the cuffs. You're not going to break the leash. It's not going to go away. That leash is there to stay.
I see it the same with kinetic field. I see it the same with anything that, like, you just, I'm gonna bust out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Thanks for making more of an edit.
Yeah. All right, let's go over Spirit Breaker versus Slark because this actually is kind of interesting. I don't know. You take it away.
Got to get lucky once again. Can't let him shadow dance.
So he's a negative 0.28%.
Yeah, negative 0.28%. So Slark has a 0.28% advantage over Spirit Breaker, but Spirit Breaker wins 56% of the time when faced against Slark. If I'm charging Slark, Slark is in the middle of things, and I charge into the middle of things. That's good. It disables Slark. If I'm just charging a Slark, I can charge him. I can hope for the bash. I can hope for the nether strike. I can hope for the bash kill.
Right.
I can basically pray that he can't get Shadow Dance off, and if he does, I can press W and chase after him.
At the same time,
I should be carrying dust.
I'm surprised that Spirit Breaker is calculated as having a disadvantage against Slark because honestly, I have picked Spirit Breaker specifically for a Slark on several occasions when I was going to be playing a roaming 4.
I think it depends. Like, if I blow my shit and I don't kill him and he shadow dances...
It's not about that. It's not about that. There are so many times you are able to provide a global level of support with Spirit Breaker versus a Slark that is crucial and rewarding for the team. And that is, you can charge Slark and retain vision of him to halt his regen no matter where he goes. If he pounces into the trees,
Shadow Dance, or unless he hits Shadow Blade.
Even if he hits Shadow Blade, you're still going to see him.
No, he still regens. You're following him,
right?
He's still regenning though.
But hopefully you're playing a smart Spirit Breaker and you're bringing some dust with you, and you're headed down to take advantage of the Slark who tried to pop in and take advantage of one of your teammates being out of position, and you can again turn a fight into a 2v1. Or a 3v1 or whatever the case may be.
It's 0.28.
Yeah, I guess I am surprised because of the added element of extra vision that you are able to get. I would think is pretty advantageous.
If I don't kill him, like 1-on-1, he wins.
Right.
Unless the 17% gods are there
for you.
But in a team fight, I can really disrupt him really super well. Slark's just going, chink, 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 chink after a lifestealer. I can nether strike him.
Yeah.
I can charge again at him. I can hopefully bash him.
Right. I mean, then I guess, I still feel like all of that is... I'm thinking more about the Slark. Yeah, you're right. Like in a 1v1, maybe you aren't going to kill Slark, but Slark, odds are he doesn't want to hang around and keep fighting you as well, at least at certain...
Unless he shadow dances and then just says, okay, let's do this. And he's regenning and taking all my stats. And then I just turn into a raisin and he kills me.
Right.
It literally has to do with Spirit Breaker.
I think it has a lot to do with timings. I think it has more to do with timings than anything, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's close. Spirit Breaker wins more often because he has a higher win rate. Like, and that's what we see.
I mean, his win rate actually goes up versus Slark.
I know, but
I mean, yeah, Slark has a 48
win rate. It goes like it's a perfect differential.
Not quite. Slark goes from a 48 to a 44.
Yeah.
So, compared to...
But Spirit Breaker goes to a 54 to a 56. So, yeah, not quite.
But anyway, I don't know. My thinking there is, I don't know. I would, if I had to write an essay, if I had to defend my Dota dissertation, I think I could defend it that Spirit Breaker has a slight advantage in a team comp, as part of a team comp. Not in a one-on-one, not in a 1v1 situation, but I still feel like Spirit Breaker could potentially come out on top.
Well, he wins more often, and there's a lot of matches there. There's 500,000 matches over the last month being played. So, like Ursi would say, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But it just comes down to also he can purge off certain things. So say I'm stunning him. Say I'm charging him and he hits Q at the right time.
Yeah.
That type thing.
He can purge
also
off
the urn.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was the big thing. He can purge my urn. That's huge. I would have killed him so many times, but I just saw him purge my urn. Like, oh, what?
Yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts to see. I know. Yeah. I know. It was one of those like, oh, that as well, huh?
Yeah. Let's just add, goes away. Just everything he can purge off. Okay, just everything. Yep. Anyway.
All right.
I think that just about covers it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Any final thoughts on that game? Anything?
No. I should have played on my 3K account.
Yeah.
Not my 2K, under 2K account.
Yeah.
Because quality of teammate does go up with MMR directly.
There's,
in my experience,
a somewhat positive correlation.
Yeah.
We'll say.
As far as understanding.
Yeah. The Alki hurt me. The Alki hurt. You know what's funny is I did that Cyphinity, that Proudland Switcheroo week with Ursi where we talked about Midas. And the one thing Ursi said in particular about Midas was, well, first of all, never build it on Alchemist. I have seen it built on so many Alchemists since we had that discussion. It's the double up effect.
I've been talking about this for years. If you got something good, you got to get it again.
You got to get it again. You got to get more.
Yeah.
If I can do it once, I should do it twice.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised we don't see anti-mages with blink daggers. Like, I'm really honestly surprised.
Somewhere there's a 300 MMR game.
Yeah.
And there's an anti-mage who can blink twice because he can go like 2,600 units, dude.
Yeah, he can go like forever. By the time...
It's forever, man, yeah.
Yeah, he just blink like all over the map.
I'm never in trouble. What are you talking about?
And he has a 4-staff too, and he just keeps going, dude.
I farm everywhere. I can get to the other side of the map. 4-staff, blink, blink.
My slots are all gone, but that's all right.
Got massive mana and health regen,
All right, closer.
All right. So remember to tune in on Monday. You will hear more about what is going to be happening to this Friday slot that you just listened to. For those who hung around and listened to all the counterattacks, we really appreciate it. It's been fun. It was a fun experiment. We've had a good time with it. But it's time for it to come to a close.
It was only ever planned to be 7 episodes.
That's right. It was planned like this. Totally planned.
Oh, and after Ursi and Proud did it last week, we realized that it was just a totally terrible show.
Just garbage.
And that if we want to get better at Dota, we shouldn't do a show like this because really, if you're that good at Dota, like Proud and Ursi, this show's useless to you. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely useless. Knowing stats on heroes and stuff like that is completely useless. So we just had to discontinue it because of them. They really brought up some good points when they did their counterattack for Switcheroo week. And
Roland's not at all bitter about it.
I'm not bitter. I mean, it made so much sense that we're canceling it right away.
No, but in fact, we are canceling it because, like we said, pro-centric, focused news. Tune in next
rather
week.
Blame it on Proud and Ursi than
I know you would.
It was serendipitous because we were going to cancel it anyway, and then this new talent's coming on. And
so tune in next week to find out who's going to be joining us. We're really excited to make that announcement, and I think it means good things moving forward for .p and for those who would like to start delving into and further understanding the pro scene. All right, if you guys want to find us, defenseofthepatients.com, new website, going to be out by, do we have a timeline on that?
May 1st.
May 1st. All right, that's a deadline. So tune into defenseofthepatients.com now while you still can to see the crappy old website.
Yep.
Give it, that one last little peekaroo before
you won't miss it. You won't look back with good memories.
But the new website is going to host a couple of new features. We're excited to talk about what we'll be offering there. Mm-hmm. Of course, you'll still be able to find all the podcast episodes and everything you want, and the ladder for the .p in-houses, which are every Wednesday night and hosted by Mr. Grootster himself. That's on twitch.tv/.ptv, where you can find not just the in-houses every Wednesday at 9 p.m., but also Roland streaming every day at about whenever he feels like noon to 1:30ish.
It's 1 p.m.
I feel like I see it on there like at 12:30 Eastern.
9:30? No, because that would be 12:30.
10:30 here.
Oh shit, that's when I start. Sorry.
12:30
I've always started
Eastern.
At 12:30 Eastern.
I thought so.
I added 3 hours to that for some reason instead of adding 2. Yeah, it's 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
12:30 Eastern. Well, there we go. I stream
every single day other than Saturdays and Sundays.
And of course, you can follow all of our YouTube content, youtube.com/.ptv1. Tweet at us at .p_show. We appreciate all the people who have been helping us by following us there. We if you haven't followed us there yet, please do.
Create an account.
It's very helpful. Roland would even advise you to create an account. I'll just ask if you're using it. Please give us a follow. It just helps to make us look more legitimate than we probably are. Let's be honest.
No, we're way legit.
So legit. Too legit to
Don't
quit.
Don't quote me, boy. I ain't said shit.
Oh, yeah. And Boys in the Pub. Go to YouTube and check out Boys in the Pub. Probably everybody heard it on Monday.
I think everybody in the Dota lands have heard.
It was beautiful that it lined up with a patch notes release, too. I'm so glad that happened because we have so many more people tune in whenever we do patch notes episodes that it was awesome. But that was like their first interaction with .p was Boys in the Pub, which is maybe our best parody ever. And
not maybe.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm very proud of Boys of the Pub.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for us, folks. This is the last Counterattack. This, it's the last time Roland and I will ever see each other. The last time I'll ever look him in the eye while I read some Dota buff statistics. It's going to be sad. And I'm going to miss it. And all of you. All right. So for the last time.
Wow, I thought you were gonna let me end it with my singing.
No, God no. For the last time, this is Cyphus for Roland saying,
we kick ass.
Good luck.